See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Tallawah TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Tallawah TV with the host and best. So Davis, take it away.
My Tallawahs, good afternoon, good evening, or maybe even a good morning. It is bang on 12 o'clock here in London. So, you know what that means, right? It is officially match day. Finally, the Reggae Girls are back in action today, and they'll be taking on today, meaning Thursday, as I am 5 hours ahead of most of you, taking on Bermuda in their first match of the CONCACAF Women's Qualifier. And this is going to be your preview for that game, the first hurdle on their quest to qualify for the Women's World Cup taking place in Australia and New Zealand. I'm sat here wondering, does the interim head coach, Mr. Vin Blaine, have the formula? I don't know if he have the formula, but I know I definitely have the formula in my corner tonight. Mr. Formula Sports, how are you, sir?
I am doing great. I am doing great. For starters, I do have life, and second of all, I'm on your platform, so I'm doing quite all right.
How's your day been?
Okay. I can't complain. Can't complain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How you feeling about tomorrow's game? What's the mood like? How's your nerves? Are you excited? Are you feeling a little bit balanced, anxious, cautiously optimistic? How you feeling?
No man, murder tomorrow night, man. Murder. I should not have said that. I hope YouTube algorithm don't pick up that. But no, for me it's just I just want to see how the girls look. I don't think we should have a problem winning the game. It's
Mm-hmm.
just how impressive can we look, against this particular team. More than likely, we'll get chances. Can we put them away, etc., etc.
Definitely, I agree with you on that in terms of getting chances because we did talk about that on your channel last night, and we mentioned the obvious fact there that we still have the bulk of our core players available, so it shouldn't be an issue for us to put the ball in the back of the net on maybe one or two occasions, or maybe even more. Looks like Formula is going for a hammering tomorrow evening. It should be a 7 o'clock kickoff if I'm not mistaken. If you're based in Jamaica.
I think it's
Um,
no man. I think it's 6 p.m.
Is it 6 p.m. for you guys?
Yeah, man. I think it's 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Yes, because I am 5 hours ahead. It's 11 o'clock
Yeah,
kickoff for
yeah.
me if you're based in the UK. Do the maths if you're based elsewhere. I see some of you are quite first early. Travis, what's up, Travis? How are you? How's your week been so far? What's your prediction for tomorrow? How you feeling? I'm well. I'm well. I can't complain. I hope you're okay as well, Travis. Thank you for tuning into my live stream. Mr. Webster, big up yourself, Mr. Webster. How you doing? How's your week been so far? I was saying, do you guys have a link for the match?
You know where they probably can go and get the match, Crystal. If
Mm,
I was watching earlier, I was watching Cuba versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the CONCACAF channel.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I can
yeah.
find it on the
And
CONCACAF
it's
channel.
usually like a HD stream. So there you
Yeah,
go.
usually, yeah, it was nice.
You enjoy that while it lasts. I don't know if it's going to be free from accessible wise for the duration of the World Cup qualifiers, but whilst it's there, you go ahead and enjoy it. Let me know in the comments section if you guys are getting a feedback because I feel like I'm getting a feedback from my end. So let me know if I need to refresh my page. If you guys can hear a feedback, then let me know before I continue. In the meantime, let me go through the comments section. Mr. Fresh God himself, how are you, Fresh? Big up yourself. I hope you're having a lovely week. What's your prediction for tomorrow? He's saying big up Formula, so you're getting a big up there from Fresh
Big
Formula.
up, Fresh. Big up, big up.
Warren is saying he's getting a feedback. Let me know if you can still hear the feedback. I'm not really sure where it's coming from because I have no tabs open. Let me just double check that actually.
I'm a mute.
Guys, can you guys still hear a feedback? I can't hear the feedback, so I don't really know why that is, but I can't hear a feedback. But yes, thank you guys again for tuning into my live stream. Myself and Formula, we're going to be dissecting today's press conference, the Reggae Girlz press conference, which was led by Mr. Vin Blaine, the current interim head coach for the Jamaica women's national team. We're going to be going through that press conference section by section and trying to pretty much analyze what was said by Vin Blaine, and it would be great as well if you guys could chime in and let us know what you think of Vin Blaine's comments. All good now. That's good, Warren. That's perfect. I know I could hear a feedback. I don't know why the
So
feedback.
me had a problem.
I can't hear it now though.
No,
So
no.
it's sometimes these technical things happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Out of our control.
Completely out of our control. So there's a few things I picked up on in that press conference there, Formula, and I'm gonna play it in a second, and we can just go through it section by section. Before I go through the press conference from today and preview tomorrow's game in terms of what to expect, you've heard Formula already. He's going for a hammering against Bermuda on home soil, and why not? Definitely going all out and backing his fellow countrywoman. Before we do all of that, I think it's only right that we get up that team sheet again, the 23 player squad that was called up for this game and the game against Grenada on Sunday. So let me go ahead and bring up that 23 player squad for you all. Just bear with me. Let me see. So for me, I think we might have to just bring myself back on screen quickly and remove the banner. Let's see.
You can't share it at the same time with both of us. Like put us to the side and put the
Can I do that? Is that possible?
yeah man. Yeah man, just alright. Go into it kinda little tricky still, you know. Kinda little something me that for kinda show you it kinda not so simple for explain.
I don't know what's happened there. Someone said that there was no sound. Could you hear me when I was speaking about the
No, I couldn't hear you.
really?
Yeah, couldn't hear you.
Webster, you're far too kind. Let me know in the comment section, guys, if you could hear me when I was going through that team announcement, the 23 squad announced team announcement. I don't know. There seems to be technical issues going left, right, and center from my end and from Formula's end as well. That's completely out of our control. So Warren is saying that he couldn't hear me. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna give that another go.
Could you, all right. You see the file where the pictures are on
Mm-hmm.
your computer?
Mm-hmm.
Click on that, click on the picture, and when you click on the picture,
Mm-hmm.
don't put it on full screen, but don't minimize it to small either. Put it on the medium one.
But it will be down as an overlay.
Yeah, but when you do that now, you don't take it off the screen. Click share in StreamYard right under the
Okay,
picture.
so rather than doing so you want me to just basically make it a shared screen, right?
Yeah, that's what I was asking if you knew how to do that.
Oh, shared screen. Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah, I could do a shared screen. Good idea. Yeah, that's probably better. I'm sure you guys will be able to hear me now, right? Can you hear me, Formula?
Yeah, man, loud and clear, man, loud and clear.
All right. So, guys, in the comment section, let me know if you can hear me. If Formula can hear me, then I'm almost certain that you guys can hear me as well. Damien, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to remove your comment briefly so we can take a look at the squad announcement. Might have to go over this again because you couldn't hear me last time round. So we have to go through the squad announcement again. I can see in your comment section that you guys are saying you can hear me loud and clear. So that's perfect. So this was the 23 player squad announcement that was made some days ago by Vin Blaine. Couple of the core players are there for you guys to see, which is quite pleasing on the eye. So I'll go through the squad announcement. Let me know what you guys make of the call ups. Is there any players there that you perhaps were looking or hoping to see, but they didn't make the cut this time round? But the journey is a lengthy one, so you might see them at the second hurdle. So we'll start from the back being the goalkeeper position, work our way down to defense, midfield, and our strike force. So at the back, we have Sydney Schneider, Rebecca Spencer, Yasmin Jameson, Chantel Swaby, Vian Sampson, Logan McFadden, Alison Swaby, Gabrielle Gale, Michaela Days, Alike Keane, Chinilu Asher, Sashana Campbell, Dominic Bond-Flasza, Kayla McCoy, Michaela Days. That's the Days sisters, guys, in case you're wondering why am I saying the same name twice. So we have the Swaby sisters and we also have the Days sisters. Lucky us. We also have Mariah Gray, Tierney Wiltshire, Jodie Brown, Khadija Shaw, Shade Ademola Kun, Tiffany Cameron, Calissa Van Zanten, whose name have I forgotten? Sashana Campbell, Trudy Carter. Not sure if I've said Dominic Bond-Flasza, but I'll say Dominic Bond-Flasza once more. So there we go, guys. That is the 23 player squad announcement. Let me know in the comment section what you guys make of the call up. And in the meantime, I'm going to bring Formula back onto the screen. I'm going to bring both of us actually back onto the screen. Yes, Formula. Sorry about that, sir. What do you make of the call ups? Who you looking forward to see? Think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was saying that I don't really have anybody specifically in mind. I mean, I mean, we'll be very obviously excited to see Bonnie, but I don't really have anybody specifically in mind that I want to see. I just want to see how the girls play together, generally speaking. The team looks, together. That's the most important thing for me personally. You're on mute now, Krista.
I was saying you sound like the gaffer in terms of just saying, you're not really keeping an eye on anything that I
That's
say.
what you were saying.
No, he didn't say that, but this was his opportunity to see what he's working with going forward. I can see Webster Warren is saying Tiffany, Bunny, Swaby sisters, Asha, Brown. Those are your favorites. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. some hefty names there that you've got there, Warren. I think that's safe to say that it's a couple of the fan favorites. Definitely where the Swaby sisters, Tiffany, Bunny, Asha, and Brown are concerned. Those names will most certainly ring a bell. Let me go back over and let me know actually, guys, because I'm doing this according to what you guys are feeling. Let me know if you are ready for us to hit play on the press conference. I'm hoping that there's no technical error and we can go and digest that press conference. Which was done earlier on some hours ago ahead of tomorrow's game. So let me know if you are ready for that press conference. And myself and Formula will go ahead and hit play. Sorry about that for me. I had to like hit the mute button because I was getting a another feedback. I think it's just gonna be one of those days. So again, guys, in the comment section, let me know if you're ready for me to go ahead and hit that feedback. Hit that play button for the press conference and I will get started. Drew Spence. No, Drew Spence. I can get into that a little bit, Patrick. There are a few players that's not available due to documentation and personal reasons. So Drew Spence of Chelsea, she's one of those players, as is Jade Bailey and Paige Bailey Gale. A few of those players aren't eligible to come through and play for us at present due to documentation reasons. But thank you for pointing that out because a few people are probably scratching their heads and wondering where is Drew Spence. So she's unfortunately unavailable for the time being, but perhaps maybe when we get to the second hurdle, hopefully the likes of Drew Spence, Jade Bailey, and Paige Bailey Gale will be available to accept their international competitive call up, because what we've seen so far is the girls playing in friendly matches, so it'll be nice to see them in some competitive football for us in the famous black, gold, and green. You guys are being really quiet. Let me know. Perhaps you're not ready to hear the press conference. I know for a fact that Formula wants to hear the press conference. So do let me know, guys, in the comment section if you're ready to go ahead and hear that press conference. Also, a few other players that you won't be seeing.
I was just about to ask what happened to Marlo.
Marlo as well. Marlo is not in the this is what I was saying on your live stream yesterday because obviously Havana Saloon was another player that was mentioned. Plummer as well. There are, like I've said before on a few other live streams, that there are players that's not available due to documentation, coming back from injury, also due to personal reasons as well. That's the reason why we have not seen a few of these women available this time round, but hopefully we'll see them at some point, perhaps at the second hurdle, or maybe just in time for when we're about to put the final nail in someone's coffin and confirm our acceptance to the next upcoming Women's World Cup. Military, how are you, sir? How you doing? How's your evening going, Military? Always a pleasure seeing you on here. And everybody else in the comment section as well. What's on your mind, Formula? You're very quiet on me tonight.
The people must have run the press conference, Chris.
Is that what they're saying? Because I can't see it from my end. They're being very quiet tonight. I'm not really sure why that is. It's almost as if they're not interested in hearing the press conference. So I'm waiting on their say really to let me know that they want to hear the press conference, because at the moment it seems like they're disinterested. I think there was a few things there that Vin Blaine said that is definitely worth analyzing from today's press conference. So Travis, how are you, Travis? Good evening. It's been a while since I've seen you around, Travis. So good evening. Thank you for joining my live stream. I know for a fact you want to hear today's press conference, Travis. And Warren is saying he wants me to go and hit play. I'm going to wait on a few more of you to tell me to hit play for that press conference. Or perhaps I should say go ahead and hit that like button before we go any further.
Yeah, man, that's a good idea. 20 likes and we hit play. That sounds
There
like
we
a
go. I'm
great
not really
idea.
sure what's the like saying at the moment, Formula.
14, I think.
Okay, let's go. Let's try and get it up to 20 likes, guys, and then we will no doubt hit the play button for the press conference, today's press conference. Everybody's saying run it. You're right, Formula. They're intrigued. They want to hear the press conference. I like the press conference. I'm not going to tell you how it made me feel towards the end because that would be a dead giveaway. So I'm not going to ruin the moment for you all. You heard what Mr. Military Guna said. He says smash the like button. So go ahead and do exactly as he has stated, guys. A man who is very familiar with the YouTube platform. So please do as he says. 6 more likes. There we go, guys. 6 more likes, and we can go ahead and let me line that up for you. Actually, let's line up that press conference. Yep, I'm all good to go. To hit the play button. See if I can give you guys a tease. Tell me in the comment section if you can hear the press conference, guys. I'm about to press play. Let me know if you can hear the press conference.
All right. First of all, coach. First of all, in terms of preparation going into the, how pleasing are you, with the preparation of the team going into this event?
How was that, guys? Did you hear any of that? Let me know if you heard any of
One more like, man, people. Make me can't manage the teasing no more, man. One more like, man. When I smash the like button, no, man. Guys, me can't manage the teasing no more, man. Jesus, man. Crystal kill me. One more. All right, see. Oh, me reach 21.
We're ready? All right.
Yeah,
I
man,
like to
Crystal.
see that, guys.
Make it,
Teamwork
man,
make the
Crystal.
dream work. And I'm stressing my
Run it,
co-host.
Crystal. Run it.
All right, guys. Thank you for that. Nice and clear. You guys you played your part. Lovely bit of tiki-taka football there. So I'm not gonna keep you waiting anymore. I'm gonna go ahead, turn up my volume, and hit the play button. Enjoy.
It's not 100%. It's, we haven't had a good session so far.
Crystal, it stop playing now.
So they were
It stopped playing?
Morning.
You can't hear it?
Just start back now. Just start back.
Night. So all I could do is do a
Okay,
session.
let me pull that back for you guys.
Who is this now? All right, first of all, coach. First of all, in terms of preparation going into the, how pleasing are you, with the preparation of the team going into this event? It's not 100%. It's, we haven't had a good session so far because for different reasons, They came in late on Monday night, and Tuesday morning we had to be doing some medical assessments and COVID tests. So they were up all morning, after coming in late on Monday night. So all I could do was do a session yesterday afternoon, where we just had them play. Nothing, no tactical really. Just having them play, getting their legs moving again. That's it, basically. Okay, and in terms of the Bermuda team, what do you know about this team, coach? And what are some of the areas you're looking to exploit? Nothing about them. Really, nothing about them. Apart from they have improved on their recruiting, they have more overseas players like ourselves. That's all. Nothing more. And confidence-wise, your first game back with the team, how confident are you? Going into this encounter. Is that what you have seen? I'm as confident that I should be and could be. I have to be. The girls know that that has to take it from there. It's up to them. The preparation, as I said, not at the level or nowhere near where we should be preparation-wise. But that's no fault of the girls, the JFF, or myself. It's just that the time that they came in, because they had games on Sunday before they came down. Most did, and traveling for 8, 9, 10 hours. Some of them 12 hours is kind of rough. So all we had was like a recovery session yesterday afternoon, and we do something to prepare. But after the experience that they have and their ability, that makes me more confident. Okay, I want to say finally, one quick one finally earn before the court. How important is that we get 3 points in this opening game? How important is that for us to get 3 points? Extremely important. Any tournament that you play, any competition, this is not a league, this is a tournament. So the first game is very, very, very important for many reasons. Progressing through the zone, we have to worry about it. We have 1 win under our belt already, so it's very, very, very important that we win tomorrow. Okay, coach. All right, that's me, Earl.
So let me know, guys. By the way, there is an extended version of that press conference, but I'm going to be stopping it as each journalist or as each reporter asks their questions, just so we can dissect what's been said, and then we can just kind of make an analysis of what's been said so far. Let me know in the comment section what you guys make of what's been said by Vin Blaine in response to the questions that were asked. I already have my analysis of that press conference because obviously I was in the press conference, so I was able to dissect it before coming on air to speak with you guys. Massive big up to everyone in the comment section, and a special big up to Military Gooner as well. You're the absolute best. Thank you, Military, for sharing my live stream. Definitely appreciate you doing that for me. Wayne is saying Vin Blaine sounds nervous.
Vin Blaine sound shaky. Vin Blaine sound nervous. Vin Blaine sound shaky, Crystal. Boy, man, I know him. I mean, we know that on quality, we're supposed to be okay in terms of the deficit. We imagine, but boy, if the gap was closer between the two teams, we sound like we're in trouble tomorrow. The way the coach attack.
You know what it is, Formula? It's one of those things where transparency might be the hill that the gaffer chooses to die on, because we've been screaming out for transparency across the board for so long, and here we have someone who's giving us blatant transparency, and in some sense we're kind of like, I'm not saying using it against him, but it's kind of opening our eyes to what's blatantly in front of us. And I think someone said, Special Edition said that in terms of paraphrasing, you said making excuses, already ready to make excuses. I disagree respectfully, Mr. Edition. Reason being, you could clearly hear there where Vin Blaine said that, to nobody's fault, the team arrived late on Monday. They were supposed to arrive at different times on Monday, but it seems like you had majority late arrivals. And he went on to say that on Tuesday, they had medical assessment and they also had COVID tests. And that's just normal protocols, given that we're playing in a pandemic. I trust and believe that every country, every nation has to go through the same protocols as us. And he also said within that time frame, they had an early morning, coming in late the day before afternoon session. He didn't get to do what he wanted to do in the afternoon session. So the afternoon session, he basically changed that into a getting the legs moving, so nothing tactical. Also touched on not knowing much about Bermuda, and I think that's something that we can all relate to. I remember talking about this with Mannings and Formula. I can't remember if both Mannings and Formula asked me about Bermuda, and I was just Bermuda. I was blatantly honest. I was like, I don't know what to tell you about Bermuda. So that kind of gave me some ease of not necessarily confidence, kind of like put me at ease a bit that I'm not the only one who don't know much about Bermuda or don't know nothing about Bermuda. I don't know if that means that could come back to bite us. Hopefully not, because how can you fully prepare to face a team that you know very little about or know nothing about? By the sounds of it, it doesn't really seem that we know much about Bermuda. I don't know if that's Vin Blaine trying to play smart with us and might just pull something out of the bag tomorrow. Maybe he's holding his cards close to his chest. Who knows? But he did say one thing about Bermuda, which I think we all know already, is that he said that they have improved on their recruiting, and they're pretty much doing what other countries in the Caribbean and perhaps countries in Africa as well are doing in terms of looking to overseas talent. Clearly, that's something that Bermuda has adapted. Whether that will play into their advantage, hopefully not tomorrow, maybe for the rest of the group stage, but hopefully that won't benefit them tomorrow, in terms of confidence, this is why I like his transparency. And I expect nothing less from the gaffer. Of course, he's going to say that he's confident because confidence starts from the man himself. If Vin Blaine isn't confident, then the Reggae Girls won't be confident. The 12th man, being us, won't be confident. Paraphrasing some of the stuff that Vin Blaine touched on there in terms of confidence, he says, I am as confident as I should be. I have to be. And rightly so, he has to be confident. As I said before, he is the gaffer. If anyone is to be confident, it most certainly has to be him. But he touched on and moved a little bit further and said it's now up to the girls. The preparation is not at the level, guys. He said the preparation is not at the level where it should be. Quite interesting that, because I think we've heard this all too many times before in the past, both where the men's team and the women's team are concerned. But he did clarify that though the preparation is not where it needs to be or where it should be, he did clarify that it's to no fault of the girls, the JFF, or himself. He said the timing of the arrival combined with the fact that a few of the girls were playing on the Sunday. So when he says on the Sunday, he's basically referring to a few of the players who play in the English FA Women's Super League. So you can think of Drew Spence and you can think of Khadija Shaw, for example. And I think something that was quite telling, and I do feel for the women's team as well. I don't know if you guys picked up on this. He also said that the team were basically traveling between 8 to 10 hours. And there were of maybe one or two players that were traveling for 12 hours. So you can imagine the impact that that takes on your body. Me traveling from London to Jamaica, that's about 8 to 9 hours. And by the time I land in Norman Manley, I'm shattered, I'm jet lagged, I just want to sleep. So can you imagine how these professional athletes feel? Being almost thrown in at the deep end unintentionally. So no time to rest, not making excuses for them, but it is reality that we're looking at here. No time to rest, jump off a plane again, no time to rest. You're going into doing your medical assessment, COVID test again. That's pretty much normality given the pandemic situation that we're all navigating in. And then you're not even able to do a full training session. So everything so far up until today, I believe, has been quite light, because obviously you don't want you don't want to be too heavy on the body. So that's what I made of the first three questions that were asked. There were a few things that I touched on as well from the first three questions. I'm sure you guys picked up on it. Fatigue might be something that might be play into our disadvantage against Bermuda tomorrow. Hopefully not. But let me know in the comment section what you guys make of those three questions from the press conference. And I'm going to take it back over to my co-host. I'm going to mute myself for a second because I notice when I speak, I get a feedback. So I'm going to mute myself for a second. I'm going to just leave the floor to Formula.
I found your take on, Vin Blaine, trying to having one up his sleeve then, so to speak, where the whole comment about not knowing anything about the opposition is concerned, right? I found that comment very interesting. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if your take on it is spot on, to be honest with you. The point about the excuses, honestly, to me personally, I mean, you could read it one of two ways. You could either see it from the perspective of he's being brutally honest, or you could see it from the perspective that he is lining up the excuses for himself, so that, if things don't, go as how many Jamaicans would want it to go or think it should go, then, he can, draw back for his press conference and say, I told you so. So that I didn't like that aspect of it. And also from the perspective of, I mean, he's depressing me as a fan. How the girls feel about that when they hear the gaffer, almost sounding down about the situation at hand. Does that, I mean, one of the roles of a gaffer is to motivate and inspire. right? That never do nothing but deaden my spirit. That never motivate or inspire me. So I mean, I personally don't know. I didn't like that aspect of it though. I think he should have just kept that to himself, to be honest with you.
I don't know what's going on today, but clearly I woke up on the right side of the bed because not only did I manage to secure formula, but the formula, but it looked like I'm about to secure the man himself, Mr. Reggae Boy's commentary. You don't even have to ask Mr. Preston. Of course, you can come onto my live stream anytime. I've actually put the link to the live stream in the comment section. So do feel free to hit that link, Simon, whenever you're ready. And that goes for anyone in the comment section as well. Formula, so sorry to interrupt you. Continue. I think you're right. I think, yeah, that for me, it's just, and you know why I said that it's kind of like Vin Blaine's trying to play a bit smart here. This man is all about attention to detail. From what I've gathered so far with him in his first cup, unless you're trying to fool me, and if that's the case, fair play to you because you've done a good job so far. I've always said so far, leading up to the current moment, that he is a man of attention to detail. So how is it you're now saying that you don't know much about Bermuda? He's probably right, because that could come down to accessibility, that he doesn't know nothing about Bermuda, but he seems like he's obsessed with attention to detail. So that's why I said that, you know what, he's probably just trying to hold his card close to his chest and might just be fooling us, or to fool Bermuda, to let them think, oh, he doesn't know nothing about us. He's the interim head coach. He knows absolutely nothing. But before I continue, let me bring on the man himself, Mr. Simon Preston. How are you, sir?
Hi, good evening. Hope everyone is doing well, Formula. Hope you're doing good. Thank you, Christoph, for having me on. I think it's the first time we've spoken in this sort of setting, but I'm doing great and hope you're doing well. I know it's perhaps midnight your time, but it's great to see the commitment. That's what we need, you know?
Thank you. What do you make of what's been said so far? I don't know if you've been able to listen to the press conference. What do you make of the first couple of questions in the press conference from the gaffer?
Yes, you touched on some really, really good points, and it can be switched both sides, because you can't say that there's a lack of information out there. You can go on Island Stats, which is a Bermudan journalistic company which had the press conference of Bermuda today and has training sessions, so we're not short of footage of the opposition or knowing that, and also bermudanews.com that has information. So even though some may be saying, oh, they don't have a Wikipedia page, Wikipedia is not the only source for information, and it might not only be, and sometimes it's not credible, but we can't say that we don't have information on the opposition. But before you brought me on, you spoke about perhaps, sort of the questions that they answer at the press conferences, just not to give away from the opposition, because people do listen. Earl Bailey, the press officer, do send these voice notes and these messages far and wide, and it could be, and we post our press conferences online as well, to ensure that we don't give too much away from the opposition. And knowing the type of character that Vin Blaine is, at times he can be a man of a few words. So I don't think it's something that we should be preoccupied or worried about. It's just his first game back in the program for a while, and it's about ensuring that he can get through and maneuver these 4 hurdles as quickly as possible. But I don't think that we don't have information on the opposition. We clearly know what their strengths are. Bermuda had a friendly match against a university team quite recently, so they have a practice game under their belts, but we can't say that there's zero information on the opposition. Not at all.
I agree with you there. Formula, do you want to chime in?
No, man. Simon basically said it all, man.
I definitely agree with Simon. When I heard that comment from Vin Blaine, I did laugh to myself, because I'm thinking, you're not fooling me. You might fool Bermuda with that one, but you're not fooling me. But fair play to him. If he's a man of mind games, then I'm all for it, so long as it benefit the girls in the long run. And what do you make of the appointment, Simon? Because I don't think I've actually managed to touch base with yourself. What do you make of the current interim appointment?
To be honest with you, I was surprised at the appointment of Vin, bearing in mind that in terms of a coaching capacity, we have not seen him in that specific role in some time. Yes, he did work in Grenada and the US Virgin Islands, but it wasn't in a capacity of a coach. So I was quite surprised, and I didn't think we'd be moving in that sort of direction. That is not to say that I don't think he can maneuver the preliminaries or the qualifiers well. It just caught me by surprise, and he should be able to maneuver it. I've always had a concern how he manages things tactically with the team. I think he's done well in terms of the attacking players, how we've done well from that perspective, but the defensive side of thing, how he can organize the defense. I think that's going to be the real test that he has throughout the course of the qualifiers, because we're a team that has leaked a lot of goals, especially from the World Cup onwards, close to 3 goals a game on average. So that's something that he's going to have to learn to try to shore up, quite quickly as well. And, as it relates to Busby, I said on my channel that my disappointment with his situation, yes, there are still some loose ends to tie up. The lawyers are getting involved, but FIFA is not investigating him personally, so JFF has to make a decision. Is Vin going to be just an interim, or is he going to take the final round as well? These are actions that we're going to have to really know. Is it just 4 games for Vin? So we really need to know what's the future ahead after these 4 games coming up.
Simon, if I may be allowed, Crystal.
No, take the floor.
How I asked Crystal this question last night. I really want to hear your take on this. How big of an impact could this whole scenario with Busby have on the team's preparation for the upcoming qualifying games?
Well, I've had the privilege to chat with a few of the girls since they arrived on the island, and a lot of these girls, as you know, came into the program under Busby, and especially the Canadian-born players like a Tiffany Cameron. She wouldn't get a Jamaican passport if it wasn't for Busby. So a lot of the girls, they have positive mindsets regarding towards Busby. So it's not a, oh my God, did this happen, or this really not happen? It's a lot of respect and honor. So I don't think it's a scenario where we have to be concerned about. My concern is that we only have 2 training sessions under Vin and a warm-up heading into the game tomorrow. So that's really my own concern. They'll have a team meeting this evening, which I guess they'll formalize the starting 11 for the game tomorrow. But Busby's scenario, I don't think affects the girls off the pitch. I think it's more on the pitch in terms of we're building something special after those Nigeria and USA and Costa Rica games. It felt that we're trying to get into a bit of a rhythm. But with Vin, I just hope not too much is changed from that sort of system. We had a 3-4-3 and a 4-3-3 in those games last year. So I don't want it to be too much of a transition for these girls in these games.
It's interesting that you've touched on the formation there, Simon, because that's actually one of the questions that was asked of Vin in the press conference. So if you guys don't mind, guys in the comment section, Formula and Simon, I'm actually going to hit play so we can listen to the rest of that press conference. And also apologies in advance, guys, because there was a couple of background sound in the audio, so I do apologize for that.
Anybody else? Anybody else? We can go. Let's go ahead and ask a question. Go ahead and let's go ahead and ask a question.
Coach Daniel Wheeler here. First, in your first training session, obviously you said that there were some things that you wanted to work on defensively. But what will be the key to make? Do you feel in terms of that you have decided on in your mind the right defensive partnership to make sure you can get to at least these two games coming up?
Well, what time this evening, I'll confirm my selection as far as that is concerned. Yesterday, as I said, we only went for an hour because the girls were quite fatigued, so we couldn't make a long session of it. My plans went through the window because we were supposed to train in the morning and train in the afternoon. So we couldn't do it in the morning, as I said. So we only had one in the afternoon, and I just made some adjustments there. But today we're going to get into how we're going to attack, defend, and you see the combination that we can use to shore up the defense.
And just a follow up, this will be obviously the Reggae Boys did not get the kind of crowd support throughout the game so far. How is it important for you from the start that the fans are back to cheer this team on, especially considering the elevated expectations that the team has?
Very, very important. Appreciation, the cheering for the team. A small crowd, but better than what they've had before. I think for them to come and feel appreciated and start and get the energy and get their energy up. I think adrenaline rush will be good for them. So I'm really, really looking forward to the 2,500. I'm sure we have a little bit more, but that is important for us to have the in the stands.
Anybody else?
And we can go ahead and pause that there. There's a couple more minutes left in that press conference. I'm going to play the rest of it for us, guys. But what do you guys make of that? I felt like sitting in that press conference, Formula and Preston. I was getting really nervous with what was being relayed back to me from the gaffer, because whilst I appreciate his honesty, it really is reality that we're looking at. And I know one of our main concerns has always been that back line, and we know, unfortunately, due to circumstances that's out of everybody's control, that is the area that has to be intentionally revamped. So how do you guys feel about how we might look defensively?
Personally, especially without our skipper, our leader, Kanya Plummer, it's going to be makeshift, and you're going to see some faces that perhaps we haven't seen in a long time as well. Sashana Campbell is in the squad, yes, but she hasn't played club football in a while. So do we go with Dominique Bond-Flasza? She's doing bits in Iceland, but perhaps doesn't have the same pace or strength as Sashana. So a couple of question marks there. Do you go with the sisters of Alison Swaby? That's what I've gone with in my 11. My predicted 11. I've gone with Chantel.
Yes, Simon. I'm gonna share my predicted starting 11 with you, because Formula put me on the spot last night on his channel, and I've never done a predicted starting 11 before, so he made me do one. So I think we can share our predicted starting 11. I have another guest that's actually waiting backstage, so I'm gonna pop him on the screen, and then I will allow you to continue, Simon. Just bear with me one moment.
No problem.
Mr. Manning's man, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. Good evening, Crystal, Mr. Preston, and Mr. Blair, the Formula. Good to be here with you. Sorry for being late. I had other engagements, but I'm glad that I'm here with you to listen to the ones who know more about me, about female football. So I'm
feel
to sit and
spoiled
learn.
tonight. I feel spoiled. It's God's actually worked a miracle. I've gone and got the heavyweights completely unintentional, so I'm feeling truly blessed. So I'm gonna pass the floor back over to Simon Preston, and Formula and Mannings. Please feel free to chip in at any point.
So I've gone with a 4-3-3 in my predicted team. The only reason why I'm not going with Sydney Schneider from the start is because Rebecca Spencer is in season at Tottenham. Sydney's not in season. Yeah. And we saw what happened with the Reggae boys when we had Javane Brown and Taxi playing in the January window. The MLS season hasn't even started yet. So we have to be pragmatic and know when we're utilizing which gems that we have, especially in the North American season, which hasn't started yet. So Rebecca Spencer, especially starting counter-attacks, I like her distribution. So I'm going to go with Rebecca Spencer in net. Unconventional, but we have to work with the talent that we have. No Den. So utility Vian Sampson at left back. She's done it a few times when she was at West Ham. So I'm going to go with Vian at left back. The Twin Tower, central defenders, the Swaby sisters, former American under-20 central defenders, Alison and Chantel. I think Alison is going to get the armband tomorrow. All being well. And Dominique Bond-Flasza at right back. It was a tough one because I like Sashana Campbell and what she's about defensively, but Dominique Bond-Flasza is playing while Sashana has just been training. So I want to have players that are playing. And that leads me to the midfield, where I've gone with a player that I've really, really been excited about in Chinyela Asho. She made that move to Sweden from North America, so she's getting games under her belt, not like she's in North America. A little feather in her cap, winning the title with Sydney as well. And just in front of Asher, I think this is where things get a little bit interesting. Yeah, because of the
This is where it gets techie.
Yeah, because you don't have Marla Sweatman. There's no Havana Salone. So I'm going to inject some youth into the mix.
Interesting.
So I'm going to go with Sade behind the front three. Sade
Okay.
and Trudy Carter. Trudy locally has played in a midfield three before, and she can do the job. In Lithuania, she has played more in a front three, but it's a job that it's not familiar with her. But the front three is where I think will get everybody excited. With Kayla McCoy on the left, Bunny through the hole, and Tiffany Cameron on the right. That's what I
You've got Kayla Yeah, this is why I love your starting 11. It's quite similar to mine. It's only maybe 3 players different in terms of our starting 11.
All right.
I was finding it difficult with our front 3. And I was looking, I was thinking, because of what Kayla McCoy is doing up in Scotland, it's like you can't not start her in the starting 11. But
Yeah.
then again, you also have the babyface assassin who has a good understanding with Bunny. So it's like it's a beautiful headache to have. I don't really know how to do it. I'm like, don't really know how the gaffer is going to put this one together. And obviously, Tiffany, even though Tiffany's unfortunately out of season, she still has been playing with the Reggae Girls over the last string of games. So it's just that you don't want to break that bond, especially if it isn't broken. Don't try to fix it. So my front 3 is looking a little bit different to yours, Simon.
All
I'm
right,
struggling.
Let's hear it. All right,
I'm
no
struggling.
problem.
I'm undecided as to whether I want to go with McCoy again
Yeah.
because of what she's done in Scotland. But let's not forget what not Bunny, what the babyface assassin
Yeah.
Jodie Brown done, winning the NCAA championship with FSU, and the amount of assists that she managed to tailor under her belt. So it's a tough one, but I feel like the gaffer might go with Bunny, Brown, and Cameron. I think he might go with Trudy. I think he might use Trudy as the feeder. I think he's gonna go with Trudy as the feeder. Chinalu Asha. I feel like it's just a dead giveaway that she has to start, right? Sashana. I'm in favor of including Sashana because of her experience, and I'm in favor. I'm thinking, And the reason why I'm swaying towards how I did my my starting 11, guys, is I relied heavily on the core players just because of that natural chemistry there. And obviously, we've not managed to formulate a new set of chemistry going forward with the integration of the new and the old or experienced players and the new players. So that's why I've gone heavy with the core players. So I've included Sashana Campbell, but then there's a question of how mat fit is she? But I think as a collective, there's question marks there for just about everyone, unless you're currently playing in Europe, like Asha. Asha recently returned to training with her club, and obviously we know Bunny with Manchester City, and we know Spencer with Tottenham. So I'm in favor of what you said. I've got my Rebecca Spencer. I don't think you guys can actually see that. You don't think you can see it. I've got Rebecca Spencer there in goal. And obviously this one is a dead giveaway that we've got the Swaby sisters there. You cannot not include the Swaby sisters. And Samson as well.
Yeah, Brian Sampson, of course. I think she should have been on the plane to France a couple of years ago, but passport wasn't ready in time, but definitely a valuable member to the squad. But regarding that front 3 that you said, and I'm sure, Manningsman and Formula can relate to it as well. Once you have a player that is in form, they will find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. And Kayla is on fire. So
Scorching hot.
So even if it bounces off her knee, they'll find a way to put the ball in the net.
Yeah. That's why I was puzzling. I was like, she's just, like you said, she's on fire up in Scotland. But then I'm just like, but so was Jodie when she was before she broke from her season with FSU. So you know what? At the end of the day, it's not our problem. It's Vin Blaine's problem and it's Bermuda's problem. Because if anything, what I can say based off your starting 11 and my starting 11 is that we can clearly see that there's squad depth there. And and we haven't even touched on Mariah Gray, bringing on a Mariah Gray or possibly a Sade if Sade doesn't start. There's players there that can come on and give an incredible account of themselves and turn the game on its head, put on the burners, so to speak. So the only thing that I'm concerned about is the fact that we've not managed to get enough minutes under our belts where the training session is concerned. But in terms of do I believe in the squad? Obviously, I believe in them because they're outstanding professionals. And like you said, when a player is in form, they really and truly can't go no wrong or can't do no wrong.
And it's a refreshing conversation to have, bearing in mind we haven't even touched on Drew Spence just yet, Sweatman and company, Jade Bailey. So you can imagine when these gems come together eventually, it's going to be even tougher. And there are going to be some hard decisions to make. Really, really tough decisions to make.
Tough,
moving
tough decision. What about yourselves, Mannings and Formula? Have you guys managed? Formula, you put me on the spot last night. I had sleepless nights. I've never done. I have never done a
I
starting
didn't,
11.
I
Starting
didn't
11.
put together a starting 11 before I came on, to be honest with you. I didn't
That's
do it.
okay. That's okay. That's no worries at all.
I
What
should
about
have
you,
done
Mr.
it, though. I
Mannings?
should have.
All right, let me say. So, when I spoke to Coach Blaine, we had a couple of conversations, and I think he did say that we have good defenders, but we have some issues in terms of how organized they are when they play. I think that it's not the quality of the defenders, and he used that in saying that he wouldn't have any problems moving the players around. So obviously, the Swaby sisters, both of them start at centre back. All right. No, the toughest decision for me is, like my favorite player on the team is really Sydney. She's my favorite, right? But I feel like, I'm not going to start her on a field. Like, that's the first problem I'm having. Like, how do I not start her? She has just been in the goal all this time. Why do I take her out? She has been there. She has been the one in the goal. Why do I take her out?
Yeah. I start my favorite player too, so that's fine.
Yeah, but I feel like Rebecca Spencer is. I'd put her in, over right. But if Sydney starts, fine. But I would start with Rebecca, and then I think I have the same defense as Simon. I have Asha in there. I have Trudy Carter, but I need one other midfielder who is going to be more defensive minded in the midfield. And I don't know who that would be, but I know up front I have
Could Mannings?
Jody Brown. Go ahead.
Could it be the what's her name at Charlton Athletic man?
Bayern.
Could she fill that role?
She can play that position.
Yeah. So that's the issue, because Trudy, when I spoke to Coach Blaine again, he said that Trudy was not being utilized, and he said that you're going to see a different Trudy. So I figure that she probably gonna start.
It's interesting, man. And sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off, but this is what I was saying with Formula last night. I think I might have caught a couple people by surprise when I put Trudy as one of like the players to perhaps look out for, because I think sometimes the work that she does is like largely overlooked. No, not intentionally. It's just largely overlooked for some unknown reason. But so it's interesting to hear that the gaffer is saying that she hasn't been utilized effectively well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And again, sorry to cut you off there, Mannings.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's fine. But I just need one person. I don't know who goes there, but up front, I mean, Jody Brown is from St. Anne. She got to start just for that reason. Sorry, Simon, but she has to start. I don't know how she don't start in this. And I'll go with Bonnie and McCoy. That's my front three. I think the same front three have Crystal.
It's similar. I mean, I've got I've got Tiffany Cameron in my front three, and I've got a toss up. I mean, Tiffany's like I said with Tiffany. It's like, I just personally believe that if something isn't broken, why try and fix it? And at the moment, I don't think we should toy about with our attack, bearing in mind that we've had to revamp our defense.
You know why I would do it though? Because we never scored I know there were friendlies, but we haven't, in the recent friendlies, we haven't scored a lot of goals. And the one we scored, you have to find a way, like Simon is saying, the person who is on form scoring goals, you have to find a way of starting her, because we have not been scoring a lot of goals in the friendlies. So she has, I don't know how, but we have to find a way, I think, to put her on the field. Because the coach he also said, you hear that, Simon?
I'm letting you finish first, and then
because we don't train again before the next game. So you play tomorrow, all right? You leave tomorrow. You really don't have except your recovery time and probably a walkthrough, and you get into the next game. So there's going to be some sort of rotation. I think he probably brings in like 3 new players. I don't know, but it's good that we're having this conversation. If we're the Reggae boys were picking, it would be done already. Yeah.
within a minute.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's what I do up front, Sam. Where you're starting Tiffany, can Tiffany play in the middle?
She hasn't operated in that role since her days with Canada, put it that way. So that was 2013 thereabouts. So that would be the thing. I mean, Tiffany wasn't there when we played Costa Rica in those friendly
Yeah.
shares.
That is.
But I do understand why you'd want with Jody in the mix, especially with the understanding with Bunny, etc. So actually, the Grenada game would suit Tiffany more, bearing in mind Grenada is going to operate with a low block. Bermuda in their pre-match press conference said that they're going to attack Jamaica. So it will cause
Really?
Yeah. That's what they said, yeah.
Is Nolan in their squad?
A member of their squad, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she has been very prolific. I think she plays in the second tier in England.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. She's a good striker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have different players for different roles, and I just feel for a team that's going to sit deep and park the bus, Tiffany with her intricacy would be best suited for the Grenada game. Well, the Bermuda game, they claim that they're going to come at us compared to the Olympic qualifier. So let's see what will happen. But I'm fine.
Okay, so you'd use Tiffany for the second Grenada game, and then start Jody in this game.
Yeah, I'll be completely fine with that. I'll be completely fine with that. Yeah, no problem at all. The midfield balance is the only concern.
Yeah. That's where I'm thinking, like, who is going to help Asha in a defensive sense in that midfield, especially because you have basically a new backline for the most part. I think that's what we need to look like.
I think he might have to utilize Campbell. And again, I know the lack of game time there is a concern, but we don't really have much choice, do we? I think that's one of the reasons why he said, you know what, it makes sense to call on the experience of Sashana Campbell.
Well, I mean, one, she's experienced, right? For our both in our club career and for national team, but also it would be best to play her to improve our match fitness and sharpness going forward as well. So I mean, yes, these are World Cup qualifying games, and yes, we do take them seriously, but I think we'd be okay if we play Sasania Campbell, right? But one in these particular games. One question I want to ask you guys though. Are these games, because we have all admitted here that the defensive aspect of our game is what needs improvement. It's a concern to me personally. I don't know if you guys share the same view. Will these games test us enough for us to be able to improve on the defensive aspect of things, in terms of Blaine saying that he wants to work on the organization, etc., etc.?
I think it's hard to measure the team because there are at least 8 players who are going to. I think we're going to have some more players coming in for the next 2 games, I think, in April. And then by the time we top this zone and you probably have a next 5 or so. So what do you do? I'm thinking, and it's quality players coming in. So even if you work on the organization with this group, by the time you get to the final stage, you may have a different, at least 3 out of that back line may even struggle to play. And in your midfield, with some of the players who are out there, and I think that is the challenge for this coaching staff. Good, it's a good thing to have, but it's also very, very challenging. So I don't know, like, can you say, okay, we were tested, so this is a good defense line? Because after this, I don't know if we will see the same defense line after this round again. I don't, maybe. What do you think, Simon?
Well, from the defensive line, that first part, I think Alison Swaby alongside Konya Plumas, just she will remain in the back line. If we decide to go with a back three, I think he'll see Sampson in the
Yeah.
mix. As it relates to the defense, you'll have two faces. So that's half of the back line in itself. But you're right in terms of that. You will have a couple more players getting their passports. The midfield is going to be completely changed.
Yeah.
So, and depending on what happens with injuries and COVID, the attack might be different as well. So we just have to wait and see how the April window goes. But as Formula asked, in terms of the test, the Domrep game in April will be our biggest test because they're acquiring American players who have Dominican heritage. So their players play in the NWSL and also in college. So that will be our biggest test. What we will have is the chemistry cohesion while these players will be making their debut in the qualifiers. So that's an edge what we have, but still a team that we can't rule out by any means. So
he did mention as well that Konya may be out for a long period of time.
Yeah, she's out for personal reasons. So,
right. So
I'm
I
not
don't know if she'll be
expecting to see
available
her.
for the campaign. It sounded like she's not going to be available for the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment they said personal reasons, and with personal reasons, I kind of like to just leave it at that because I don't really want to step on no one's toes or cause offense, be it intentionally or unintentionally. But I think with what we've seen of Vin Blaine is, again, I can see that he's trying to give us some layer of transparency there. So I trust and believe that whenever the likes of Captain Konya Plummer is available, that we will know as a matter of urgency. So I don't think Konya is someone that we should be too concerned about. Obviously disappointed that she's not available, but I think as soon as she's good and ready, she'll be back in the team.
And there's a next. Is it Sweatman who had her third child?
Matthews.
Matthews.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have to check on Sweatman and say you kept that one quiet.
Marlo's fine. Marlo's
yeah, because I even saw Instagram and she's playing and stuff like that.
Sorry.
Checking on Marlo.
So Matthews is going to be out for a little while as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
My thing though is why we never seem to be able to get our best players in our national setups in the run-up to the World Cup qualifiers. It's just for whatever different reasons. We're always having the big guns coming in at the last minute. I
think for this, a lot of them are injured though. I like in this case, it is a documentation for some, like the regular ones, it's a lot of injury and being out of season. I think it's a little bit, at least I feel like I have been given proper explanation. So I feel like it has been more open to me. So I don't have a lot of questions to be honest in this case, because I feel like I've gotten enough information to not create my own speculations. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, you're spot on. And that's been the case not only during Vin's time, but also Busby and also Menzies as well. So there's been clear coherency. And when when a player is out, we know what is the situation regarding who and who. Yeah, Marlo's situation is injuries. Marlo, MRI she's doing, so she's waiting to get the results on that. So that's the reason why I haven't seen her. And as you said, Manningsman, regarding the passports of players, so hopefully that is tied down for April. So more patience needed from us, I guess.
Yeah, I found out something today as well with the under-20 team, because two of the parents that I interviewed, one got into the under-21 and the under-17, and they actually came to Jamaica because one of the things they said to me is that a couple of the offices during the President Trump's presidency were shut down. So there are like 3 embassies, and so they found it easier to come to Jamaica and have the process done, and they got through in time. So I'm wondering if that is a step that like players in Europe could look at taking instead of trying to process it over there to come to Jamaica. And I don't know if it's the same in Europe as it is with America, but that's what they explain. So I said, how did you get through with this passport? And I have players who every time I hear issues, and they said they actually came to Jamaica and went to the peak office, and they got through.
Yeah, it's the quickest and fastest way, you know, Manning's man and dead side. That's the quickest way. It just have to be done in a manner where they're in their post-season, in a sense. So like the summer, so they couldn't come down during season. So, and it's something that was done for Ravel. Ravel got his passport from 2018, and from the women's side, I think Tiffany got hers done before the World Cup, just like that. So yeah, it's something we have to consider moving forward. Can the team manager, can the JFF arrange these flights June, July? So that can come here and get it done immediately, because, you know, Crystal can tell you the High Commission in London takes their time with these things. So,
yeah.
That is definitely true. I think Simon and Mannings, you guys have split the comment section there with Jodie Brown and Tiffany Cameron. Mannings, I'm sorry to say, but Tiffany Cameron is out in front, so people are backing Simon with that one. So you might have to come a little bit harder with Jodie Brown.
Yeah, you see, I would just want to preserve Jodie for the under-20s at the end of the month, so she's not.
No, she can't. That she's not going to play. She's not going to play.
I would give the edge to Tiffany as well. So I'm with Simon on that.
3 versus 1. Which side are you on, Crystal?
Should I just try and split the vote and come on your side?
Thank you so much.
Simon is saying I can't.
Remember the people that helped you out, Tiffany.
There you go. Sorry, Mannings. I have to go with Tiff with this one. But yeah, it's just like we've said before. It's a beautiful, beautiful headache to have that we're actually sat here debating at length as to who should start in the fire attack. And it's odd because we've not even touched on Bunny yet. Like, how fortunate are we?
Yeah.
Brilliant gem. You know,
what there's not much. I think we should just what can we say except that?
Yeah. Well,
so
go ahead, Formula. Yeah.
Now I was saying this to Crystal last night, that it just amazes me how Jamaica played an integral role in the development of a world-class player. That's so crazy to me. It's obviously an anomaly, yes, but it's just still an amazing thing. It makes me feel proud. It honestly does make me feel proud.
She's not the only one still, but because I think Jodie Brown spent most of her career in Jamaica. Trudy Carter, as well. Kanye Plummer, as well. A lot of her time. Alicia Dread Wilson. I mean, she was at GC Foster. She started playing for the under-23. I mean, so a lot of the female side, I don't know. It could be because there are less females playing in, right? So you have more time because you have less kids. And then the best coaches are coaching. Some of the better coaches are coaching the females, in my opinion. Because you have so many schoolboy teams probably participating in competitions. You don't get all the top coaches coaching all the players. But with girls, you normally have to be a very good coach to coach up one of the good girls. Like Xavier Gilbert. You look at the coaches, Marion Garden. They are really some of the most qualified coaches, I think. So I think that maybe help with the development. I don't know. Maybe because there were less girls playing. That's my thought.
Charlie Edwards as well. Had 100 developments as well.
Christopher Bender used to coach girls as well. So a lot of those persons,
Interesting conversation that we're having so far, guys. I think it's probably time for me to hit play again on that press conference, because I almost forgot all about it. I'm sat here like listening to what you guys have to say. Before I forget my manners, thank you so much to my outstanding panelists for joining me tonight. I think this is safe to say that's going to go down as one of my best live stream, and that's what happens when you bring professionals together and people who are able to have a balanced conversation. You really and truly can't go wrong. So let me go ahead and hit play once more for you guys.
Okay, because I lost you on the internet.
No, I'm saying we've become accustomed to seeing the girls play 4-3-3 formation. Even though you haven't finalized your 11 as yet, can we expect more of the same in terms of the formation, or are you contemplating a change?
Contemplating a change because of the players that I have, the talent that I have. I might have to change. Remember, I lost some players that were being was part of the plans going forward. So now that we have not gotten some players, we have to now look at the personnel we have, the ability and the positions, if they can handle certain formations. So basically, I can tell you it probably won't be a 4-3-3. It might transition into a 4-3-3 when we are attacking, but static-wise, I don't think we're going to go with 4-3-3 right away.
Want to reveal what you have in mind?
No, but not well. I think 4-2-3-1 is what we normally might go for. I had other ideas coming in, but we might revert to that because of I said the personnel we have.
Coach.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Everybody, Rick, I saw your hand earlier.
It's heading towards the remaining bits of the press conference, guys. So what I'll do, I'll just let this one play out right till the end, and then we can just dissect it.
Hello?
Al, is it okay to ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Crystal. I didn't recognize it. Go ahead.
It's okay. Good afternoon, all. Coach, just a few questions here from myself. Now that you've had the chance to look at the team in terms of squad depth, how well balanced are we?
Quite balanced, and you in the last week we were in, I was saying that we didn't get certain people, but the depth of the team is good. But I just have to move people around a bit, and I will concentrate on doing more of that this afternoon. So at the end of this session, I definitely know my starting 11. But I think we are good attackingly. Defensively, we have to make sure that I put the proper persons down the center of the pitch.
Okay, and just backtracking on a few what I view as possibly concerns. How big of a concerns are those red flags that you touched on? So obviously completely outside of your control, the players' control and the JFF's control as well. Based on the facts that we're dealing with in terms of medical tests, late arrivals, and so on. Is it safe to say that we should perhaps temper our expectations on what to come, particularly in the opening game against Bermuda?
Not really. We can temper it if we know a Bermuda. I don't know them, so I can't answer that question positively. I say yes. The medical assessments and the COVID tests are something that are required by FIFA and Concacaf, so we can't get away from it. And it happens at particular times. Like we got 2 weeks and 2 weeks ago. It has to happen at a particular time. 2 days before a game, 4 days before this. So it's not that we have that under our control. I think our young players now, national players, have to sort of have a mindset that this is going to happen. I am more worried about how much rest they get and the recovery time that they had. But they're in good mood. In yesterday's training, Crystal, they were quite bouncy. They were upbeat about getting into the session. I don't think they'll be fatigued.
Also, what can the potential debutants bring to the team?
Hopefully. Well, I don't think there much any debutants will be starting. I don't think so. Based on this after I made that decision, but I expect them to bring some vibrancy and expectation from them for their own self and play at a high level to show me what they can do and if they want to be part of the team going forward.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Anybody?
So that was that, guys. Rounding off that press conference. What do you guys make of what was said in the last couple of questions there? And Vin Blaine's response?
He answered. He said, "I don't think any debutants will be starting." he did say that, So it is suggesting that anyone who the persons in the starting 11 would have at least played a friendly game, right? So Simon, did you have anyone who would be making a debut?
Not in my starting 11, but I'm just thinking with the balance of the squad that perhaps one of the 5 players without a cap might get the nod. He said don't think, so that means maybe one at most or none at all. But just one I had in mind, and that would be Alika Keane, who plays over in Lithuania with Trudy, because she can play defensive as a right back. So that's the only one. Other than that, I don't have any debutants in mind from the start. I do expect the attacker to come on at some point in Kiki Van Zanten, but apart from that, no other debutant in my eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
From yourself, Formula, what do you make of what was said in that last couple of responses there from Vin Blaine?
No, I mean, I think first of all, the questions are good questions. Second of all, no, I think I like his answer. I liked his answers, you know. Good, well thought out answers. So yeah, I don't really have much. I mean, even with the debutants, I mean, I don't have an issue with that either. You know, him not starting debutants in the first, you know, World Cup qualifying game and also his first game back. So, you know, that's kind of understandable to some extent. So
Interesting there. I want to see what everyone's saying. Seems like Trudy Carter has been like a main talking point there in the comment section. Seems like Trudy has a lot of fans. I'm not surprised. Maybe some people, again, I personally feel like what she does on the pitch sometimes is overlooked. But maybe with what Manning said in terms of how she's utilized, perhaps we'll see a different Trudy Carter going forward. What do you guys make of that? Someone here is saying that I hope he utilizes the substitutions when needed. I can only imagine who they're referring to.
I think that first comment, the person probably meant clinical. She's not as clinical as but she has always not, because the truth is, just from I've been watching her, she's always more of a creator. She wins a lot of free quick kicks. She normally gets the ball into the box. You know, she's very, very good at that. She would take on players one-on-one and get that in. So I think she's, you know, you can expect her to win some free kicks because she's an entertainer. And I remember being at a match when not this coach, not coach before, but the other coach was not happy with her. Was not happy with her flamboyance on the field. You know, he kind of preferred her. So I understood what Vin Blaine was saying, because I think he wanted more passing than
showboating sometimes.
Well, she likes
Trudy
to
does love a
showboat.
cheeky showboat now and
Yeah,
again.
she likes to showboat both and things. But that is the thing, though. That is why I think this coach has said that he doesn't believe that she has been utilized. But sometimes you have to allow people to use your creativity, but still control it. Like, you can't just remove it and say no. We can't move from. I think sometimes as coaches, you can move from one extreme to the other. All right, no dribbling. Right? But you still give them a freedom to do it, but say, listen, if you dribble and lose it twice, start passing. But to just like kill it completely, I think that is what affected her in a couple of the other coaches. And I think because she has worked with this coach, we may see her going back to her original self when she just got to Roma. She was very, very creative and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Sai, what do you make of that in terms of Trudy Carter?
Yeah, well said. Well said. With Manning's Money, you could see that Humans is the type of coach he was. I wouldn't say my way or the highway type of character, but it has to be, you know, alongside my philosophy. And I think, as Manning's Man said, in terms of the blueprint of what she was trying to do, it's such a wonderful sight seeing her back in Lithuania again, played in the Champions League earlier last year, and to just be in her own again. You could see she was back in her element. It's now to ensure that she converts those now into goals and assists now with the country as well, and not being isolated like she was in the World Cup, especially the open against Brazil, being in a lot of offside positions. So the timing of the runs, the decision making in the final third, and I still think you have a very, very decent squad player on our hands moving forward, especially in the final round of the qualifiers, if we can get past this round.
It's almost as if you read my mind there, Simon. you ended on something that I wanted to pretty much ask you guys in terms of expectations. Of course, you've quite rightly put it. This is pretty much our first hurdle. How are you guys feeling about the prospect of us advancing out of the groups? Me, I'll go first and say that I do definitely think that we'll advance onto the second hurdle. But what do you guys think as the panelists and also in the comment section as well?
I should go. Well, I'm going to go with what Vin Blaine said when I spoke to him. He said, listen, if any of these teams beat Jamaica, they deserve to go to the World Cup. so I think that is suggesting that he expect to come out of this zone, out of this round. Then it would be good when we get played, because the second round, like you said, is going to be played in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want to ensure that we're zoned. If we are zoned with Canada, Mexico is not in that group. If we're zoned with the USA, Mexico is not in that group. And I think if that happens, we should be good. Worst case scenario, we end up third in the group and play the third place team, which would mean that say you pick I don't know, Mexico, USA, Canada. Let say Costa Rica go through. I think whoever else we meet, worst case scenario, I think we should be good enough to beat them. And then we'll go to the playoffs. But I am expecting us to qualify by making the semifinals. But ideally, I would prefer, because USA heads one group, Canada heads one group, and then all the other teams go there. Ideally, I'd prefer not to be placed in the group with Mexico, just because they are the host, and normally host nations get the calls. I just don't want to be that. That's yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think Formula and Simon will probably agree with me on this one, that bearing in mind the manner in which Mexico did not qualify for the last World Cup, that they're going to be seeking revenge. So they're going to be looking, if they're not eyeing Panama, they're most certainly going to be looking at Jamaica for obvious reasons. So I'm with you on that. I don't fancy meeting Mexico. That doesn't mean I don't believe in our squad, but when somebody wants revenge, it's probably best to stay out of their way.
Yep, well said, 100% right there. And as your question as it relates to these qualifiers, well, the Dominican Republic, they've laid out the gauntlets right now after defeating Grenada 9-0, and one of their American prospects already had a hat-trick. So they've laid down the marker right there. So we have to score some goals. It's as simple as that. We need to rack up the goals. And yeah, as it relates to the final round, 2 groups, 4 teams in each group, top 2 teams from each group go to the World Cup. But I think worst case scenario, absolute worst case, we'll head to the Intercontinental playoffs. So that would mean ending third in our group and headed to the playoffs. Of course, this is not something that we want, because the Intercontinental playoffs has 10 teams, and only 2 of those 10 teams will qualify for the World Cup. And most likely we'll face a CONMEBOL team or a UEFA team. We don't want to be in that situation. Finish top 2, do your job, and you go into Australia and New Zealand. Simple as that. But worst case, definitely the playoffs is where I think we'll go. We just need to put the ball in the back of the net consistently now, because Dom Rep is leading the way.
Absolutely. And Formula?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the girls have the potential to, and I made this statement on Simon's channel earlier today, that I think that, the potential is there for the girls especially in the final round stages, to move up the rankings, right? What I am concerned about is, yes, on paper, we can get there for sure, but I don't want to, when you're setting your hopes up too high, and because my thing is, I not so 100% sure about the preparation, if it's gonna be, ideal, if it's gonna be, what we would ideally want. So that's the only thing that makes me, a bit hesitant to go all in, like, the 2 esteemed gentlemen on the panel, and say that, things are looking really positive. But definitely on paper, we have a team that, can get us to Australia, for sure. But, hopefully the right cards, hopefully we are dealt the right cards, and, hopefully, the team can really come together and, play some good football and bond together on the pitch well. And we need to sort out the defense as well.
Definitely agree with you there. I've left a comment on the screen, and it's one that I'm not really sure how to feel about this one, and I explained it on, I think it was either Manning's channel or Formula's channel last night, or possibly both. And I definitely have a strong emotional connection with this current crop of reggae girls, especially the squad that took us to the World Cup qualifier for obvious reasons, and then subsequently watching them in France and thinking that they pretty much did what the 1998 squad did in terms of qualifying and also playing our first ever World Cup in France, coincidentally. I kind of feel like it doesn't matter what the next generation of reggae girls achieve. Nothing can touch that squad of 2018 to 2019 for obvious reasons. Just like it doesn't matter what any current reggae boy squad do, you can't touch or be put in the same bracket as the World Cup squad of 1998 because they created history. So it's one of those questions where the answer is quite obvious. It's an obvious one, but I kind of feel like out of respect for the girls, and I think it's safe to say that they are icons within their own rights in terms of what they achieved for Jamaica. They did the unthinkable, and that would have opened up a floodgates for the next generation. Think of little girls in the same parish as Konya Plummer or your Bunny or your Den looking at these beautiful dark-skinned women on TV with similar accents to them, and they're looking and they're thinking, she's from my parish, she sounds like me. If they can do it, so can I. So I don't necessarily like to compare that crop of reggae girls to this current crop of reggae girls, even though the balance is still there. I don't know how you guys feel, but it's one that I always I'm a little bit hesitant to compare.
Well, I just think like the squad is really it's similar. It's like it's not like we have had a major change out of the team, at least for these games. I mean, like legitimate changing out of the team. It's like injuries and personal reason and so on. So the core of the team is still really intact. And the players have gotten better. Bunny,
that's what I was gonna say.
That's better now than she. Like a lot of the players have gotten better. Sydney in goal has gotten better. She has improved. I mean, so I think if you look at it, great that they did, but it's basically the same squad. How many major players are out?
About five or six in a sense. Major, you mean from
who will not play again?
I think it's safe to say Nicole McClure is not going to be playing again. Right?
Right. Yeah.
I think I don't know whose decision that was. Clearly, they made that decision before Nicole McClure made that decision, because I've not heard her touch on that. So I'm not really in favor, and you guys would know the way that the federation, the guys in charge, I don't know who's in charge at the federation, but the way we treat certain players is just completely unacceptable, be it the male players or the female players. And I to this day, I'm still struggling to think, how do you just brush aside a player who pretty much stood up and in every sense of the word held herself accountable and took her country to the World Cup in such a nervous moment as well, and that player is obviously Nicole McClure. And I think it's a bit of a shame, like some of the other girls, that she didn't get the send-off that I felt that she deserved. I think the federation, there's still chances there for them to give those crop of girls who are no longer with us and perhaps will never play for us again, to give them their respected send-off. But yeah, I think one player that we're probably not going to see again, unfortunately for obvious reasons, is Nicole McClure. I don't know how Simon and Formula feel about that.
Yeah, I think there were some happenings behind the scene with Nicole. I still felt that she was solid as a number two. Her life and her career has...
Thank you, Simon.
...decision. I still felt that she had a decision to make. Of course, you and I, we can't change the past. And this has given an opportunity for Rebecca to come into the fold. So although it is disappointing that a good shot stopper, and of course that penalty kick is not in the fold, it gives an opportunity for Rebecca to show what she can do, and I'm happy with that. Of course, I am concerned with the lack of minutes from Sydney and Yaz, but with Rebecca in the mix, it does give me a bit of confidence, and hopefully Nicole is still having conversations with Sydney and with Yaz so that they can learn their craft, because Nicole has been in the sport for so long. So that conversation and that continuity you can pass on to the next generation and can still remain in from that perspective. You mentioned Nicole. Yeah, we know about I don't think Chanel Hudson Marks is playing anymore. Ashley
There you
Shin
go.
retired as well. Christina Chang has started a family too. So based on this squad and this 13 members were on the plane to France, I still think that's a pretty good core to work with.
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah.
Agree with you there. Manins, was you saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that today I was having the same conversation on my platform and Simon agreed that we have to find a better way of dealing with players, even if we think they are not good anymore. But you can't have players like Alvis Powell, who represented the national team from 17 to 29, and just dismiss him. Nothing.
Well said. Well
You
said.
can't do
I
that
can
to
echo
Kemar
that.
Lawrence. It's Javon Watson. You may not like them. You may not think they're, but we have to find a better way of dealing with people, because life is a circle, and how you treat people, it comes back around to bite you. And if we keep treating our players this way, trust me, it's going to come back around and bite us. And we have to stop. Even on the female side, and they're not the first. Tashana Vincent, we didn't even know when they stopped playing.
Shakira Duncan.
Yeah. Same thing with Alicia Wilson. Nothing. This is a captain of the team, and I mean, still involved. We could at least keep a game or something in honor.
Exactly.
Just that. It's not to give them money. It's not to give them some land. It's not that. It's just to show them that. And I'm saying this especially because we have not had spectators for 2 years now in sports to really do this, to clap them, right? Are we going to do the same thing with Mariappa? That's what we're going to do. Just let him just go away.
The thing is, carry on, Mannings.
His respect, Mannings, are the lot thereof. You know, I am surprised that we got Ethan Pinnock in the squad, given how I heard the hierarchy would have dealt with his relative in the past, right? With what took place, where that is concerned. So, you know, and if that was true, then you know, I was very surprised that we would have gotten a Pinnock. But yeah, man, is the one thing I do realize with our hierarchy is that I don't think the emotional intelligence or the you know, just the punctuality in dealing with people, the emotional IQ. Yeah, I think that side of it is kind of, I don't want to say ignored, but enough importance isn't placed on that aspect of it, and just how important it is to deal with people, you know, and give them their due level of respect and deal with them in a respectful manner.
I think what it is as well that we've seen over the years, dating back to the 90s to the present, which is so depressing when you think of it, is the federation, be it intentionally or unintentionally, of time and time again fail to apply duty of care. And that relates back to what Mannings was saying in terms of checking on your players' mental well-being, checking that they're okay. I can't speak for a player like Nicole McClure, and I've not spoken to her about this, but me, knowing that I have done my part, held myself accountable, played a pivotal role in taking my team to their first ever historic World Cup, and to not even get a proper send-off, I know that would have definitely derailed my mental health. I don't know if that's something that is high on the Jamaica Football Federation priority, but I think it's safe to say that it's not, based off how they treat their players, and it's insidious, and they should be called out, because that's something that they should most certainly be putting at the top of their agenda.
Even when Luton Shelton or Bunny became Jamaica's all-time leading goal scorers, not even a plaque was given to them. So I think that, or any player that has gotten over 100 caps, nothing to recognize that achievement as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Warren Barrett captained your team in the World Cup. I mean, it's just some simple things. I'm saying it cannot be hard to say, listen, let's play a game at the National Stadium, even if it's under and just if you just put them on and we clap them off the field.
Simple.
Like it's not, it cannot be that hard, because you know, I mean, you know, many players would love to even get the autograph of Nikki and some of these players, just to have them sign a jersey, because they're not going to see them again. You know, many persons would be willing to go to the stadium to see Mariappa retire and he signs, you know, something. We have to
Yeah.
fix the culture and begin to give honor where honor is due, especially to our sporting icon, because what these girls did, it's unprecedented.
I
Right?
like what you touched on there, Manning's culture. I think culture is such a key word here in all of this. And that's why I said that at times, like us as reporters, us as journalists, us as content creators, at sometimes we need to like check the person that's sitting to the left and the right of us. Because quite oftentimes we are so quick, and I include myself in that, in calling out the JFF or critiquing the manager or the head coach or critiquing the players. But when do we actually look at ourselves as well? I think it's a collective effort. There's no way I can sit here and critique the federation for the way they treat their players with regards to where duty of care and mental health is concerned, and not say to a fellow YouTuber or somebody who I might follow on Twitter and say, I don't like what you did, or I don't like the way you've spoken about your players. You need to do better. So I think it's a collective effort where everybody needs to be held accountable with the way that we treat our players, both on the male side and on the female side.
Yeah. Well put.
Crystal, Alvas forget cussing though, Crystal. Alvas forget cussing.
You know what? I don't disagree, and I've always said that, you know what, as football fans, our heads get hot at times. Even my head gets hot, and we can say anything. And it's not a case of if you're gonna curse the players or not, because you will, because it's a natural emotion, and it's football. Football is hostile. But again, I've always said it's about your language. It's the language that you use, and
Yeah.
also. We always have to remind ourselves that we don't know these players personally. What if that person is on their last leg, on their last breath, and there you go with the dagger that finally puts the nail in their coffin? How would you feel? More importantly, I also like to say that it's a good idea when we're critiquing these players to look at them as a family or as a loved one. Would you like someone speaking like that about your loved one? If the answer is no, don't do it. It's quite simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best route to go, especially as analysts, and this is something that I personally try and instill. I always try to be respectful. Not always try, I always be respectful, right? You can never. I don't like when it gets personal, right? Keep it strictly on footballing matters, and also do it in a constructive manner. So I would say, you know, Alvas, your positional play has been a problem for quite some time. You know, it's best if you probably try and address it. You know, that sort of a thing. So definitely constructive criticism, you know, is and I think the players would respect it too if they are.
Listen, let me just, because I want to stick to here's my position. If you represent your nation over a period of time, you will have bad performances. Asafa Powell struggled to get a major individual medal, like gold medal at major championships, but I still think he needs to be honored, because in his time of good performances, he did well. All I'm saying, even with our female footballers, there are going to be times when their career is not what it used to be, and they're going to have bad performances. But there are times when they have brought us great joy, right? And I'm saying that some of these players, they have, on the male side and the female side, they will not always be good. But can we at least recognize the good that they have done? It doesn't mean that they can't say you're not good enough right now, but honor them for the good that they have done, because not all of us go out there and leave our families, travel all over the world, go through difficulties as well to represent our country. To be cursed out and still go on the field and put on the jersey and play, sometimes with injury, right? So I'm not telling anybody like let's go now and you know, but they would, you don't play for your country for 10 years and all of that 10 years you are not good. It that's all I'm saying. If you have a 10-year career representing your nation, this guy went to a youth World Cup. I
One of
don't
the
see,
reasons why we're qualified.
he's one of the reasons why we qualified, and many people forget that. He's the reason why we qualified for a youth World Cup. And so fine, he should not be in the team anymore. But you can't say, listen, you can't just say, listen, let's have a game, a friendly game to honor these people and clap. You're not giving him money. You're just saying thank you for your service. You know, many times the guys who come and take up the garbage at my house, they leave the containers all over the place. And I have to go out there and I tell them that don't do that. Sometimes they scatter this stuff and I have to go out there and pack it back. But here's the thing, they still come and collect the garbage. So in December, I still honor them. They don't do it the way I want them to do every time, but it doesn't mean I can't honor them.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. We must be able to cuss people and still give them due honor. Even it's a clap hand. Thank you for your service to Jamaica.
It's an interesting one, and obviously, as it relates to the National Stadium, yourself, Manning, Simon, and Formula, you'll have a better understanding. But when I was there for the game against USA, and Leon Bailey's family were sat in front of me, at one point I had to move because of the amount of abuse that Leon was getting. And I get it, football can be like that, but I'm looking and thinking, use your common sense. You might not know that Leon Bailey's family is to the right of you, but there's a little baby that's there in someone's arms. Is that the message that you're trying to portray? Is that the culture that you're trying to develop moving forward? Because kids pick up on everything, anything. They're very advanced. So if you take a little kid to the football match and they're hearing you say X, Y, Z, that's how they're going to react when they're now left alone to go to football matches. So everybody has a duty of care. It's not just JFF, it's not just the coaches, not just the players, but more so the 12th man as well. And nobody is saying, I said saw someone in the comment section that said about pampering. It's not about pampering the players. Again, you are well within your right to critique the players, especially if you're buying the jerseys and going to the games. But it's all about what you say and what it can have on someone's mental health. So that's just the way that I look at it. But not everyone's going to see things the way that we see it, obviously.
No, I agree. You know, I think one of the best examples that can be drawn for is how Theodore Tappawhite was treated towards the latter stages of his tenure. You know, I personally was a critic of you know, the legend Tappa towards the end of his tenure, but I still ensured that it was done respectfully because this guy is a legend of our football. Like you can't style the man. You can't disrespect the man. Like, yes, you know, I don't like certain things that I'm seeing. You know, yes, I'm saying probably it's best to go in a different direction right now. But some of the abuse on social media in the direction of Theodore Tappawhite, some of it, when I saw it, I cringed. You know, and even I was saying on my platform, guys, let's not do this. I remember even Military Guna as well was saying on his platform, guys, you know, let us desist from, we don't have to make the thing get so disrespectful, right? So we can be critical, we can critique, but we can do it in a respectful manner.
And you know, the reason why I brought it up, and I'll leave fresh comment on here. Obviously, last night myself and Formula were talking off air, and I'm telling him about some of the stuff that I'm doing outside of reporting. So upskilling myself, and I'm learning. I'm doing a course that basically educates me on the academy and also the pathway to the professional game. And the stuff that I'm learning is just completely mind blowing in terms of that development phase, the gap gap between academy and first team football is just like, it's unimaginable. The amount of stuff that the players have to go through. And I can't name the club, but there was one club, or a player, he retired last year and it was due to an injury, and he was literally approaching the heights of his career, and then he went and got injured, and he was touching on stuff like being in a depressive state, and how being in that depressive state not only affected him, his teammates, but also his family. And this is what I'm trying to say to people, that you do have to be careful of what you're saying, because whilst it might not affect you, it might then go on affecting their loved ones, and subsequently them, and that might even affect the team as a collective, because you don't know, like there's a lot of people out there within their team that are their brothers keepers, that are their sisters keepers. So again, my big point is, would you be comfortable with someone speaking like that about your own family? I think that's the best way to look at it, from where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
Guys?
that's fair. Yeah, you're right, 100%. So where that is concerned, all the best in that course as well. I know it'll be something that you'll relish as well. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
you hit the nail on the head right there, and you put up a comment a moment ago regarding the flowers, give them now when they're alive, especially the government of Jamaica as well, giving Shelton Order of Distinction when he passed away, but you give Bunny the Order of Distinction when she scored 40 international goals. You know, I think that a better balance is necessary with everything. There's many more reggae boys, even Dion Burton's, the Paul Halls deserve their recognition as well, going back to that campaign as well, and even before that era as well. So it's not hard to be able to analyze who has done extremely well for the country. Joby McAnuff will never get a send-off, and to me, that I'm still livid about that. So it's better management that's definitely needed.
My
I think that's
favorite
where,
reggae boy, Makano.
yeah.
But I'm telling you, Wes Morgan, captain. Listen, we could go on and have the list, But again, listen, one of these days, and again, I'm not supporting any player's poor play, but one of these days, when you understand, as a 19-year-old, when Alvas made his first move, what he went through and all of those things, his years in Portland. I think one of these days when he opens up about some of his, people better appreciate, probably, oh, maybe that is why. And this is what Crystal is saying. Sometimes you may see people behave a particular way, but you don't know all the details about it. And I'm learning this from an Arsenal player, like someone just said, Jack Wilshere. When you listen to Jack Wilshere's story, you realize that for us, it's just a game. For them, it's their life. And they have families and relatives around them that hear all of this. You can imagine your mother sitting in the stadium, or your mother comes on one of these vlogs and hear some of the things that are being said. That's all I'm saying. You understand me? And if we can be so hard on them, then at least celebrate them when they are doing good and honor them. It's okay to be this way when they are bad, but honor them for when they are good then. And just bring the balance,
Yeah.
It's an interesting. I think that's where people like yourselves, Manning, Simon, and Formula. I think that's where you guys come in terms of creating that communication and relationship with JFF, because they probably just can't see things the way we see it. I think we've reached a point with JFF. No disrespect to them, but I personally believe as if they've taken us as far as they can go. I would go as far as to say that I don't know, again, no disrespect, but I don't even think that they'll be interested in upskilling themselves, because they're set in their own ways and they're part of the old boys network. So I think it's a case of, again, you guys communicating with them and possibly just giving them some ideas so that they can see things from a different angle, because I don't think they see things the way that we see it. I don't know if that's intentional or unintentional, but I don't think they see things the way we see it.
To be honest with you, I'm not so 100% sure if I'm on the JFF out bandwagon. Because, and here's why, and I said this to Crystal last night, but I didn't explain why, right? I do realize that there has been a shift in attitude, so to speak. right? I can see that there has been change occurring, in terms of the attitudes and the culture. Yes, things are not moving nearly as quickly as we would want it to go, but I see some positives. I see some revolutionary things that are being put in place that could really, in my humble opinion, have a massive positive impact on Jamaica's football going forward. Like, for instance, this drive where coaching education is concerned, right? This is a big deal. Like, this can really revolutionize Jamaica's football going forward, and the JFF are really pushing this, coaching education issue, right, and putting it into action. A number of D-license courses will be taking place across the island this year. They are arranging with CONCACAF to do C and B licenses as well. There are other things, like, for instance, moves to restructure our footballing club structure in Jamaica, right? So I personally, I've seen more taking place, and this is my humble opinion. I've seen more taking place. I know probably people in the comment section probably have beat me, but I've seen more taking place in the last 2 years, probably, so to speak, than I've seen taking place for probably 10 plus years before that. To be honest with you, it felt for a long time like our football was really stagnant. There wasn't any revolutionary idea being put in place, nothing really serious being, implemented to effect change. But I'm seeing things happening now, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know if I want to disrupt that. Yes, they're a long way from where they need to be, but I see them trying, to be honest with you, and I don't know if I want to disrupt that, and I don't know if if the replacement will continue these initiatives or will, throw them to the side. I don't do drugs, Wayne.
I see where you're coming from. I see
Deep.
I see where you're coming from, Formula, but I have to ask you, do you think that their ideas are innovative? Or do you feel as if we are now trying to play them being JFF are now doing the basics and we are unfortunately playing catch up? Personally, I kind of feel like it's they actually remind me of the Arsenal and the Manchester United in terms of the board. So they'll roll out the red carpet when the noise gets a little bit too loud. So if you dare go and riot, like you see with one thing about Manchester United fans, when things don't go their way, they'll riot. And when they riot, that's when the guys at the top start to be a little bit more proactive and sensible with their recruitments and so on. And I think that's what JFF are doing. And so when I heard the announcement that they're inviting, and I actually think, oh, that's a nice gesture, but I think it's a token gesture where they said that they're inviting ex-players to come to the stadium. I was like, and this took you donkey's years to do. And you should have done this at the last World Cup. The players who were in the gutter, the players who were in the mud, who took Jamaica to their first ever Women's World Cup, they should have been invited to France, and you should have covered that. And you should have also set aside 2 teams to give the girls their send-off after the World Cup, post-World Cup, to say, unfortunately, you've taken us as far as you can. For the foreseeable future, we're not going to be going ahead with you. Respect, ultimate respect. So I don't buy this little token gesture that JFF are rolling out by saying that we're inviting you to the game against Bermuda. Lovely gesture, but we want more than that. We want more than that, because for me, that's a token gesture that is perhaps maybe 4 years late. But it's nice of them that they're doing something decent for once. Anything else from anyone?
I think you've summarized everything from that perspective, but yeah, less than 24 hours to go before kickoff. Expectation will be high once more. And if we can get some victories over the line, that can certainly hopefully turn the corner and let's see if the administration can realize the importance of this and give the girls their best possible preparation as well, because we still have a number of young ladies in the squad, the early 20s, that can very well be part of 2027 campaign as well. So to understand the tremendous potential of this golden egg at hand.
Lovely stuff. I'm gonna take this one to I've got about 5 more minutes, guys. So feel free to fire away in the comment section and ask my wonderful panelists the last remaining question before I close off on the live stream. And I do want to say a massive thank you to Dre for the super chat earlier on. I won't forget my manners there, Dre. Thank you so much for showing support. Thank you to everyone in the comment section. The guys who are a little bit too shy to make a comment and are watching, definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And again, a huge thank you to my wonderful panelists for blessing me with a moment of their time.
Yeah, I would say, listen, I think the female program there is, at the end of the month, the under 20s also go to the Dominican Republic to play in their tournament, and they have I think they have 17 of the squad. They have around 17 players who are overseas in the squad, so that is good. And so we could be seeing like our senior team under 20. I mean, the under 20 team, like McNamara is her name. She's in it. I mean, so they have players who could be in the senior team, like a Jody Brown, Abel, who is she's at Navarra College. I think she was at Excelsior a few seasons ago. I mean, there is the female football program, in spite of the pandemic, we have a vast amount of talented players all the way down to under 17. So I'm looking forward to this whole female program, because I am optimistic that not just the senior female team will qualify, but the under 20 will do well in their tournament. Remember, we had an under 20 team that defeated Canada 2 years ago, and a lot of those are still, I think at least 8 of those players are still in this under 20 team. So it's not just the senior team, it is our under 20s, which is showing a good progression or transition. And so I'm very excited about female football.
Two quick questions I want to ask of the panelists. CONCACAF on the women's side of things. In my humble opinion, CONCACAF for the men's on the men's side of things has improved. We improved, but also, in my opinion, the rest of CONCACAF improved as well. For the women, I think we have improved. The rest of CONCACAF, as the rest of where do you guys think the rest of what's taking place with the rest of CONCACAF? Yes, we know US is still world number 1 ranked. Canada, Mexico as well, Costa Rica, Panama, some of the big guns. Have they improved or have they declined since the last World Cup cycle?
You're just calling names, the fact that you're calling so many names is suggesting that there has been marked improvement. There's a time when all you'd call is Canada and the USA. If you go beyond that, it is improvement in female soccer.
The only country you perhaps missed out is Haiti, who went to an under-20 World Cup in
Haiti.
Yeah.
And those players have progressed to the senior team as well. So Haiti is going to be coming really, really
Yep.
It's interesting there. I think it might have been Simon that touched on how to watch the game tomorrow, on the game being on CONCACAF. Was it you, Simon? And it was you, right?
Yeah, on their official YouTube channel,
And I think Simon can probably echo the frustrations. Obviously, if the game's not being played on home soil for Simon, I don't know how he takes it, but for me, it's an absolute frustration trying to find an avenue of watching this game. So it just goes back to your question there, Formula. The access is there, and they're giving the access because of the appetite, because nobody is going to move mountains to make women's football available globally, outside of even their region where they're based, if the appetite wasn't there. So I think it just goes to show that women's football is definitely growing, and it's been like that it's been like that for half a century. Most certainly, when you look at women's football in England, and that they definitely intentionally stifled the growth for women's football. But I think now we're definitely on a promising trajectory, and all it takes is just for each federation to just release the shackles, and women's football will just fly through the roof. Because look at how many people are in the comment section, and I think it's fair to say that the majority of the people in the comment section, if not all, are literally in good spirit when it comes to the women's side. And it's not like the men's side where we're all a little bit miserable and we're just thinking, oh God, we're gonna lose again. Like everybody's in good spirits. So that's a huge bonus from where I'm sitting.
One more quick question, because we have a top man and we have on the stream, man. So may I have to ask the question, from the standpoint of women's football in Jamaica, like for instance the senior league and that sort of a thing, where do you guys, like, what in your guys' opinion, right, what is taking place with that? For me personally, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know if you guys share the same views where that is concerned in terms of the local program itself.
Well, I can just speak from what I know because, right. So I recently spoke to Charles Edwards, who has been a stalwart in terms of women's football at Barbican. And for the first time, it was made clear to me that women don't get paid for playing. All right, so just let that just sink in.
Yeah, not a red cent.
And that's lovely there, Manning. Sorry to cut you off. You guys might have seen an article today from the National Women's Soccer League across the pond in the States, where they're now put the minimum wage, I believe it's at $35,000.
Right.
Think about that, guys, when the most iconic and the best team in the world in terms of women's football over the last couple of World Cup cycle have been the USA women's national team. And you're telling me that football is $1 billion industry and all you're giving them is peanuts, 35,000 salary. Yeah, I think there's definitely works to be done there across the board, be it from grassroots level all the way up through the professional game.
Yeah, so if the ladies in Jamaica don't move probably to go into the States, into the college system that they have, because the United States, if you're in the States playing, which is a good thing because Jamaica is able to tap into that market and get a lot of players, but locally it's going to be difficult once the high school system is done, because at the senior league competition, it's I can't believe it. Like in this time, you want people to train 4 days, 5 days a week, and then play for nothing. Just think about that. Like that's not a real world. It's not real. Like it's not. It's not. What do you do? I mean, like that has to change. That's the first thing that needs to change.
It's an interesting question there.
Sorry, let me just say this. You know what is funny? Who is the Minister of Sports? It's a female, right? And even one of our former Prime Minister, I think she was a minister was a Minister of Sports, right?
She was.
Yeah, and I'm always thinking, like, listen, you don't want to think like if you're the Minister of Sports, you're female, then you'd probably want to put more money in female sport than anything else. I'm hoping that will happen, but we have to start paying the ladies for playing in the league. That has to happen. I'm beginning to wonder if the people who play senior netball, Jamaica is a number 4 ranked netball team. I think are number 5 in the world. I'm not wondering if they get paid.
They don't get a salary.
yes, what I mean. Unless they do the business house thing and where the companies take them, they play for the company and they get a job there. That's
Our
from
netballers for the senior team don't
no,
get a salary.
the league.
Oh, the league.
They
Oh,
don't
okay,
get paid. They
okay.
have to work with the companies that they work at Jamalco, they work at
NCB
Yeah,
NCB
yeah.
and stuff. And we are
That's sad.
we are in the top 5
Mm.
the world.
in the world. In the world.
Thing is there, Mannings, in terms of the minister that you touched on, I think it's a case of just having the right team around you, because one man can't do all the job, or in this case, one woman. One woman in this case, she can't Babsy, like she can't do the job by herself, clearly. Not trying to diminish her her ability to get the job done. But when you're not just talking about one sport here, you're talking about sports across the board. So I don't know if she has a team around there, but she needs a team, and she also needs a team that is fully in tune with what's going on. So there's no point appointing someone to lead where football is concerned if they have a degree in solely business. What's your football head saying? Can you put on the thinking cap of a football? Do you know how to sell the Reggae Girlz? Do you know who to market the Reggae Girlz to? And so on. So I think it's about having the right team around you, and or the right team about this around the sports minister, and take it from there, because Reggae Girlz, I think it's safe to say that they are arguably one of the most likable. They have a unique selling point. I easily think that they're one of the easiest products to sell in the world, just because they've got brand Jamaica on their hands. All it takes is you coming down and brainstorming. It's quite simple, and we could do that. We could do that easily between the 4 of us. So I don't see why somebody who's in a paid position, why they can't do it.
Because we're not politicians. This is the thing. There's no politics involved.
So before you guys go, I did bring up a couple predictions there that you guys saw. So it's prediction times, guys. I do, Owen. I do need to get some moderators. Didn't think of it before, but it looks like I will be needing some moderators. Guys, score prediction. That's how someone said 14-0, I'm sure. I thought Travis said 14-0. My God. What are you guys feeling, score predictions wise?
I'm going with Jamaica 5, Bermuda 0.
That's exactly what I was going to say too. Jamaica 5, Bermuda 0. That is, Travis, that is very disrespectful to Bermuda. Very disrespectful. 5-0 for me.
Mannings?
We need the goals.
I don't like the number 5.
6. You like the 6 is real?
Yeah, man. Now I'm up like 7.
Yeah. Up. Yeah. I'm going 7 for Jamaica. I think Buddy's going to score a hat-trick. And I think Jody is going to score. I just for some reason think she's going to score. Yes, I'm going 7. I am going 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
High score line, guys. Travis is saying 15-0. That would be something. High score lines isn't something that we're not unfamiliar with. We're definitely familiar with a few high score lines there where the Reggae Girlz are concerned. So who knows? Maybe tomorrow we might see a 15-0. I don't think my heart can take that, and it will be a 11 o'clock kickoff here in the UK. So I don't think an 15-0 will do good for my neighbors, but who knows? Because I won't be able to hold back on my excitement. Before I go, let me just try and close off in the comment section, or I'll leave you guys actually with the closing words.
Yeah, well, I mean, always good being here. Looking forward to being at the game. Just watching it live. I'm trying my best to get to Grenada, seeing if that can work. Because so see if that can work. But I'm really excited about this. I think it has come at the best possible time. After going through months of ordeal. It's good to finally turn up into the National Stadium and I believe that this time I will take the full hour and a half to come back home instead of 40 to 45 minutes because of the disappointment of losing. So for my own safety, I'm happy that the girls are going to help to get me home slowly and safely. Yes.
I know. So that will be Mannings and Simon. Simon, you'll be at the game tomorrow, right?
Yes, all being well, I'll be at the game. I got my accreditation, so thank you for having me on the show, Crystal. Anyone in the comments that's going to be at the game, hail up Manningsman, hail up myself, and reach out to the girls. Bring your jersey, and they'll be happy to sign it for you because they're unassuming characters. They're just like normal human beings. They're good-looking women, but they'll approach you and talk with you and have a conversation with you.
Definitely, and I take it you guys should be doing a review, right? Once you get home.
Definitely.
So there you go, guys. You can keep your eyes on Manny and I Am Sure Sport, and obviously, the Reggae Boyz commentary. Formula, you'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, right? And a review.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a watch along tomorrow. I need to get vaccinated because I really feel a way when me hear Mannings and Simon say they're going to be at the stadium and I'm not going to be there because I'm not vaccinated. But I will be doing a watch along, and I think it would be one of the more upbeat watch alongs I've done in quite some time. Right, I really expect that we're gonna be doing a lot of celebration, during the game, a lot of celebratory moments during the game. So hopefully, that takes place. I'm just wishing the girls all the best, man. I really do hope and I really do believe that they can make it. Right, this is the first hurdle, and we expect them to clear it. So, I just hope that everything runs smoothly in terms of they can really and truly, have that performance or have the team really come together on the field going forward.
There you go, guys. Thank you once more to my wonderful panelists. I think this has been I know this has been one of my best live streams, and I can tell based off the engagement in the comment section. So do go ahead and support the guys on their review tomorrow. The guys being Mannings from I Am Sure Sports, the Reggae Boyz commentary, and also the Formula Sports. I'll be doing a live watch along as well while Simon and Mannings are at the game. So you can either tune into my channel or Formula Sports tomorrow to watch the live watch along. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who have sat with me for over almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. You guys are absolutely incredible. Definitely appreciate you each and every time. If you're new to the channel, do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you are a regular, do go and hit the like button. Until next time.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.